So we'll go through Ralphie, which we're going to start with the ball at X, and we're going to finish on the right side. It could be any R word you want, Rudolph, Randall, whatever you'd like. Louis is the exact opposite of Ralphie. Again, any L word, kind of throw the defense off, throw the other team off. Just call it something with an L. We know we have an L finish, and we know how to get there. We'll talk through Denver. Again, any D word. This is just a nice double cut from the top side. It reinforces our offensive motion. It also gives that second guy behind a really good reason to cut through because he's, in many cases, going to get a goal. And then we'll talk about a 1-3-2 pop, which isn't really a designed play, but it's an opportunity we've found or identified a matchup and we want to expose it, meaning we want to, worst case, spread out, get into a circle, get off of crease, and allow our guy to do some work and get to the goal and see what happens. Okay, with Ralphie, we're going to start with the ball at X. I know that in the beginning of most games, at least a while ago, we had the luxury of getting the ball to X. We weren't getting a lot of play behind X by a defender. We really trusted our X guy. And so to start a game, we wanted the ball at X. And so we're going to look at the first move of Ralphie. Ball's going to be at X, and this guy, remember, Ralphie is finishing on the right side. The first move, if he's not being played by a defender, is to cut hard up into GLE and suck that defender in. If nobody plays us, which has happened, if we catch him sleeping, we may have an opportunity to put the ball in the net. So we'll just see how this goes. We get the ball at X. We call Ralphie. We charge hard on the left side. You see everybody's moving. Our midi triangle is moving because it's a dodge. Our attack triangle is moving because it's a dodge, as well as we see a face mask here. We see his tail. We're just rotating. Nobody picks him up. He turns the corner. 1, 2, 3, and it's a goal. All right, the next step of this play is, let's say this cutting attackman, X, is met with defender here. Of course, we are getting our rotation here. Our middies are also rotating. What we want him to do is turn and roll back using the crease to his advantage. Now, defense also has an advantage because they can cut straight across the crease, but there's a lot to contend with here. The back of the net, plus this guy's already beat him. So we rolled up, we rolled back, and we're just going to come hard on this side. If nobody slides, boom, it's a goal. So we'll just look at step 1 is to engage here. If we have no engagement, we just score. Step 2 is if we are met at or below GLE, I would say most defensive coaches want this guy to meet you about a yard below GLE. If that's the case, we're going to tuck tail. We're going to run. He's going to follow. We're man up. If we don't get a slide here, we're going to put the ball in the net. So that's step 2. If for the sake of time, we're not going to keep going through our rotations. We know that we're really focusing on the X movement right now. So as he comes up, obviously this guy's going to be coming around. This guy's going to be fading back to back up the ball. As he turns back around, we're going to have to reverse our rotation. And so the attackmen are now just following on a string. Let's say he is met with some resistance here. Keep in mind our middies are rotating. This defender's picked up and is the hot slide. If we get a slide from crease, let's get the ball up here. We're going to look for that passing lane. Crease should step into the space, shoot. That's why one of the rules is always look to crease. Calm down a little bit, look to crease. That's not always there because there's a lot of stuff going on in here. And so let's just kind of look at his movement real quick on that play. As X comes up, he gets this guy to bite. He uses the crease to his advantage. Very tight. This guy's kind of cutting up as he rolls around. This defender's chasing. And if they're sliding from crease, the ball comes to crease and goes in the net. This takes a lot. This takes crease being open, or I should say opposite and big, to make this a really long telegraph slide. So if he was up in this area, the slide's coming. We know it's coming. Now everybody might collapse in as well, so we'll have to watch this. Hopefully we can get it into this passing lane. If this is a good defender, he's going to have a stick up in the air. It's going to be maybe a hard pass. But if he is picked up, we'd like to see this and then in. The next part is what we see more often, because this is a hard pass and crease is not always doing their job, and there's a lot of holes in the middle there. We'll see this look quite a bit. This guy has only two things he can do. He can camp, meaning not move, or he can cut through. To camp, like, when does that happen? Usually the camp happens only when this guy is the adjacent slide. And I'll show you why. So we initiate, we get this guy sucked in. As we roll back, this guy, if he slides, we've got a nice step into a little bit of space there. Boom, boom. That'll happen a lot. So that's this guy camping, meaning he's not going to cut through. He's going to camp. He's going to wait for this slide to go. This attackman or X is going to throw it to him. He's going right in. So, rule 1, if he's the adjacent slide, or if he gets sucked in because he sees a ball, we're going to want to camp in this area and move into a good shooting position, get that ball and put it in the net. The other 2 times that this attackman will do anything will be cutting. And so the rule is, if he's being face guarded, let's say they've decided that this guy's a threat, we want to get him out of there, clear him through. So as he comes up, and I'm going to leave the ball behind just for the sake of time, he gets this guy to bite off. He comes around hard. This guy's being face guarded. We just want to clear this guy through. Okay, he's not going to be able to catch the ball. The guy's looking right at his eyeballs. Let's just get him out of there so that we can hopefully get, in this example, I'll bring the ball back, a crease slide, steps into the passing lane. As he clears through, the defender goes with them. We've got a shot. So the first rule was camping. If his man adjacent slides or runs towards the ball for whatever reason, he's camping, he's stepping into space, he's taking that shot. Rule 2, if he's being face guarded, which we'll probably won't see a lot of that, but you never know, or if he's being played really, really, really tight and he has a disciplined defender, cut through, make space. Let's look for this crease slide to come, and let's see if we can't feed crease and put it in. That means crease has to be, as I keep saying, opposite and away and playing big. This guy's last rule is cut. Again, so the situational play will be as we cut hard, we suck him in. Of course, this guy's fading back. This guy's ball watching. He's just amazed at this guy and how great he is and how bad his buddy just got burned. We're going to cut up. We're going to cut back in. We're looking for this pass, and we're golden. So before we move on to Louis, which is the exact opposite of Ralphie, I want to show you that this play was actually developed as a man-up play. And the reason it was developed as a man-up play is because it plays right into the way a defense will slide man down. And so as this X comes up hard here, we've got a 2-on-1 here. This guy's got to make a decision. Is he going to play X? Is he going to stay on his man? Are we, going to get a slide from the crease? What's going to happen, right? If we can suck this guy in and get him behind that net, all the better, right? So if we do get this guy playing here, we've opened up this 2-on-1 here, okay? If he stays with his man and they're going to come down from crease, as we come through here and we get a crease slide, we've opened up this passing lane and we're putting it in the net. If they're well coached, let's think about who is hot. Right now, crease is hot. This guy may do a coma slide and pick him up, which would be great. If he doesn't, crease knows I better go. This is the 2 slide. So the 2 slide comes in, and let's say this guy's late, things aren't happening his way today, and we can't hit the midi because the 2 slide got there too quick. This guy's wide open. So if you think about how the defense is sliding, we could find a step down opportunity over here as the 2 slide comes in and covers crease. So it's a little bit on how the defense would slide. Again, this guy might just pick him up, and as long as there's no slide necessary because he didn't beat him or didn't get him out of place, there might not be a slide, which means, going back to our fundamentals, you got to beat him to play. But again, the defense that's the rotation, right? If he doesn't come, he comes up hard, we're going to see a slide here, boom, boom, or we see the slide from crease. We do get a 2 slide, he steps into space, boom, boom. So those are all potential options. That's why it was designed as a man-up play. We don't use that as our man-up. Not saying that we couldn't, but we certainly can take a look at that. Okay, let's go through Louis. You already know what Ralphie is. Depending on what kind of players we have on the field, if we've got a great shooter from the left side, maybe even an X-Man playing left, this could be really good. So again, what we're going to do is this time we're coming up over here. This guy's going to move out of the way. This guy's going to fade back. Ball's going to hopefully be with our guy. He's going to roll back hard. If he can suck that defender in, this guy's going to readjust. This guy's going to start to fade. We're getting a midi rotation. You know that. I'm not going to show it. And we're looking for a nice good cut up top and back in for this goal. Again, the rules still apply. If his defender is face guarding, he's going to clear through. Okay, he's looking at his eyeballs. He doesn't care where the ball is. He's going. If the defender is ball watching, meaning watching this guy, we're going to cut backside. Look for that. If this defender is the adjacent slide and he goes to help his buddy, we're looking for that same, probably hopefully opening up this passing lane here and here. So Louis is exactly the same. Again, don't forget about crease. If this guy goes to help his buddy because he's chasing and he slides from crease, this could also be a slam dunk. So Louis and Ralphie, the same thing, just initiating from the left to right. The one thing I want to bring up, and we've had problems with this, not because of players, but because of coaching, what we want to be careful of is if we've got a defender on us, I've seen guys, just because they're disciplined, they try to fight through this guy on Ralphie to get here. And, now they might get a double here because he's brought his defender from out here. He never beat him, right? And he ends up on this edge, and it's really uncomfortable. And so let's say the defender is playing us, and I mentioned this earlier. You know what? We got to be athletes. Drag this guy who you're faster than. You dictate where and how he goes. Drag him out, and now it's simply a drag race, right? So if we're doing a Ralphie and we get him beat here, you've just told the whole entire field, including the parents and the sidelines, that you just burned this guy. If he's super, super smart, which we hope he would be, he's going to get back home to help inside out. Most likely he's going to think that he can, he just screwed up. He's going to think that he can stop you. And in that example, we're going to have to get this crease slide coming up to stop this guy, and or this guy's defender may think, oh darn, he's in trouble, and get lost, and all we're looking for is either this guy cutting up over the top, boom, boom, or this guy's clearing through, this guy's sliding, and now our step down from crease is right there. So, point being, if your defender is playing you, drag him to where he's uncomfortable. Most coaches are like, don't play him outside the box. He's going to be waiting for you. That's great. You get ahead of steam, burn him, and now we've made the game easy. We don't have to come up on this side and try to get him to sucker in and take the bait. He's taking the bait, right? Now you just got to say, did I beat him? Yep, I'm going here. let's walk through Denver. Denver, super simple. Again, is just about a midi triangle and our rules. Midi passes to attack. Midi's supposed to cut through. He sees his face mask. He sees his tail. They're making a full rotation here. So we're looking for that give and go, right? That's what we want. But on that first cut, a lot of the times this guy's going to be on you, right? So we take that first cut. We need to fake the ball in, right? It'd be a good idea to at least, this guy needs to be screaming like, I'm open, I'm open, I'm open, even if he's not. And so we might get a pump fake in there just to throw everybody else off. But what happens now is, remember D stands for double. We want to get in here and then we want to start a move out. We want to, again, take a second rotation on that midi line and look for this guy being open. Why does this happen, right? Really easy. The defense gets just simply ball watching, or they're not disciplined enough. And so as we take the ball here, we call Denver. It's going to pop down to this attackman. Obviously, he's going to look at our cutter. He's going to be cutting through. This guy's terrified. He doesn't want to get in trouble. So he's on him like white on rice. This guy's ball watching a lot of the time. And we want to take a nice athletic cut, nice and big. So even if this guy does follow a little bit, he's behind. Hope I screwed that defense up. So he's running behind, which gives us an opportunity to have a nice pass here and open. So Denver, a double rotation on the midi. What I've seen that we haven't been doing well and what we need to work on, think about where the ball is. Ball's up top, so we're down low, making a long slide for this midi. We pass the ball, and this cut is great. I love it. A lot of times that defender's staying with him. This guy's popping out and pulling this defender with him. This guy goes right towards the backside, which means he's got a defender following. He's got this guy's defender that can play him, and we're getting jammed up here. So how do we fix that? Real easy. This isn't robotic movement, meaning ball's up top here, okay? Crease does his job. Oh, great, I'm going to be down and away. So if this guy does go, we've got all the space. But as we move the ball down, let's get this cut, really athletic cut. This guy vacate, watching the ball, pulling his defender. This guy's defender stayed with him. This guy doesn't need to cut. He wants to make that big triangle here, get his defender, he's probably going to be in here, wondering what's happening. And then this is the opportunity for us to cut. Granted, we're cutting in front of him. I'd love to see a backside cut, but that's not going to happen in this place. And so as we're running faster than that defender can catch up to us, these guys have done their job. They've sucked out their defenseman, and we've got this shot. So practice point here. You see the square or the triangle here? We want to run this triangle. We don't want to cut corners because we're just going to get jammed up. We want to slow down a little bit, take our time, let everybody kind of get suckered into what's going on. And as we're moving with him, that's when we make our cut. Everybody rotates out and around. And I know it's probably hard with me clicking a million times, but this is the look we're looking for. Okay, we'll go over pop really quick, and then I want to just talk through kind of our philosophy on what we're going to try to do this year. So when we're in settled offense, pop is just bringing this guy up to be kind of a third midi up top here, kind of an umbrella set. And why are we going to do that? So again, good crease play. He's down here. These defensemen are kind of off their men a little bit. These guys a little bit further out. But they're really packed in. And so we've decided that this long pole is not who we want to play with, right? He's a good long pole. But all of a sudden we look at this matchup over here. So maybe we've got a really great dodger here. Hopefully there's a great dodger here, and we've got a righty just for a down the alley shot. So we're going to yell pop. Pop means the crease midi is just going to vacate here. We want this matchup. Well, actually, it's not the matchup we wanted. Let's throw the ball over to matchup. Okay, this is the matchup we want. Shorty on shorty, great dodger on maybe a less good defender. We're going to screen pop. We're going to stay big. This guy's going to come out this way. And momentarily, he's been coached to go with this guy. And so now we end up in a situation, and we've done this really well. We got to beat one guy, and we're looking for, this guy could slide down because he was crease. He's going to be a little confused, like who's hot now in that circle. If they're well coached, they slide AJ, and we've got some trouble here. But we're betting that as this guy is a little bit further out on his man, this guy's a little further out on his man, we pop, we bring crease up. We've got a lot of space to beat this guy and put it in. So if you hear 13 pop, we're in a 1-3-2, and we're popping crease off. And so it's really important that you get out. We've identified a matchup, and we want to expose that matchup. And we're betting that we can beat this guy in a time and room shot right here. Okay, next thing I want to work on is what we want to do. And so we've been working on a 1-3-2. What we'd like to do, and we're all familiar with Yahtzee, all 5 guys on the outside are going to touch the ball. So we Yahtzee 1, okay? Now we can play. Everybody's got a chance to touch the ball. Everybody's looked at it. Now, most of our guys are righties. And until this changes, this is our offensive philosophy. We want to get the ball to this righty. As this happens, people are going to be moving a little bit, stringing in and out, and we want to take a dodge, okay? As we dodge, we know what our job is. This guy's going to vacate here. This guy's going to come up top here. This guy's got to be super speedy. He's got to get through. We're probably going to work on a momentary curl here as his defender goes with him. So as he dodges, even if he doesn't beat his man, that's okay. We want to bail out. We don't have to get a home run every time. Bail out, readjust. Okay, so we're sitting here in this kind of unbalanced offense. I get that. But as that happens, all these guys are starting to move. Our defenseman is staying with us. He's pushing out. And all that commotion dragged this guy in. This guy pinched in. And so it's probably a bad example, but we're these guys are going to be on this side of the field watching. So as he bails out, he pulls the ripcord, he moves the ball here. What we'd like to see is potentially pop the ball here. These guys have all got to readjust, right? And this is not easy. And get a dodge off the backside here, right? Either a high-low, curl inside, or pull it up high and go high-low and do something over here. Now, if that doesn't work, that's okay, because as you dodge high-low, this guy is going to kind of rebalance. And because you're dodging, everybody's moving. So as this guy vacates here, this guy vacates here, this guy goes to crease, bail out up into space. Okay, again, we live to fight another day. Send the ball, get the ball down here, and now we have another dodge. And so the idea is, and I'll try to illustrate this better, but as we attack from a certain area, let's say we attack on this side of the crease. Defense is packing it in. This guy's 2 passes away, so he's tight. Okay, this guy's got a mind crease, so if our crease is big and out, great. This guy, couple passes away, so he's packing it in as well. Okay, so as we come around this corner, this guy's going to be extended out here, this guy's coming through here, our defense is starting to move, and we want this defense to be over here. And if we can get that done, and we get this pass, and change field, we now have these guys scrambling to get where they need to be, and we've got the advantage. So what we want to do is we want to attack here. Oh, wrong guy. We want to attack here. Come on, ball. We want to attack here. If we don't have it, we're going to bail out. We're going to get the ball around. It may be an attack from here. When the defense is over here, we want this. If we don't have it, we're going to bail off into space, move the ball up and around, and attack here. We don't have it, we're going to pull out, we're going to throw it back here, we're going to attack here. So changing the field of attack. Always keeping the defense either high when we attack here, so we can expose the backside, or when we're attacking from back here, let's get these guys low and on this side. So as everybody's focusing on this guy, right? As everybody's focusing on this guy, we're just going to move the ball here, here, and we want to change planes. So we want to get it over here, and we'll go. So completely scrambled, but that's the philosophy. If we have some lefties, we'll talk about that. Same thing. If the lefty goes, bail out, bang, bang, attack the backside.